Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. From our studios, we bring to you this week's edition of MCP Weekly. From the unexplored territories of Model Context Protocol to the expanding architecture of agentic artificial intelligence across enterprise, research laboratories, and sovereign government alike. Autonomous systems are no longer an experimental curiosity, they are becoming infrastructure. Tonight, Google accelerates reasoning to near scientific peer level. Anthropic extends its reach across enterprise and nations. Microsoft fortifies the security parameter of agentic workforce. And across the industry, the connective tissue of MCP continues to mature. We begin with Google. In the Mountain View, Google has released not one but three significant model developments this week, and the numbers attached to them demands careful attention. Gemini 3 Pro is now available in preview on Vertex AI, Gemini Enterprise, and Google AI Studio. It scores 77.1% on ARC AGC 2, more than double the performance of baseline Gemini 3 Pro. JetBrains and Databricks have independently reported evaluation quality improve of up to 15%. The model carries a 1 million token context window and a 64,000 token output limit. Knowledge cutoff is January 2025. The result's significance on its own is not the headline for Google this week. Gemini 3 DeepThink has been independently verified by the ARC Prize Foundation at 84.6% on the ARC AGC 2. Gold medal equivalent performance on the 2025 International Olympiad in Physics, Chemistry and Maths has been confirmed. On the CMT Theoretical Physics benchmark, it scores 50.5%. In Codeforce ELO, rating stands at 3,455, legendary Grandmaster tier, outperforming all but 7 human programmers on the platform globally. Early SS API is now available for the enterprise customer, and in a separate release, Google DeepMind has launched Gemini Lyria 3, the company's most advanced generative music model, now in public beta within Gemini application. Even the music you are listening to right now in background is generated by Lyria 3. It generates 30-second tracks from text, photographs, and video inputs, with automated lyric generation included. The Lyria real-time API offers WebSocket-based streaming at 48 kHz stereo output. Every track carries a synthetic ID watermark for AI identification. The model is integrated into YouTube Dream Track for Shorts creators. What emerges from this week's Google release is a picture of company advancing simultaneously on reasoning, coding, and creative generation across both API layer and the consumer surface. Two significant MCP developments were confirmed this week, one in workplace communication and one in cloud data infrastructure. Slack has launched a purpose-built MCP server. It returns natural language response designed for AI agent consumption directly. The company has simultaneously replaced its Data SS API with the new real-time search API, one that retrieves Slack's data without requiring external storage. Granular permission scope has been introduced to private channel, direct messages, and multi-party communication. The permission architecture here is worth noticing. Slack is not simply opening its data to agents, it's defining at a structural level what agents are permitted to see and act upon within the communication layer of the modern enterprise. This is a governance decision as much as a product decision. From Google Cloud, the record shows a substantial expansion of managed MCP support, now extended to AlloyDB, Spanner, Cloud SQL, Firebase, and Bigtable. Agents operating through the infrastructure can now perform schema creation, vector similarity search, and query optimization across different portfolios. Security is handled through IAM and cloud audit logs. A new developer knowledge MCP server connects integrated development environment directly to Google's technical documentation. The published roadmap include Looker, SubPub, Memory Store, and Kafka. Taken together, these two developments represent something specific. MCP is no longer being evaluated as infrastructure. It's been built into production data layer of enterprise platforms that serve collectively hundreds of millions of users. Anthropic has had a considerable week, and its activities span in three distinct categories: modern performance, enterprise partnership, and public sector commitments. Claude Sonnet 4.6 is now default model in Claude Code and Claude API. Its scores on OSWorld verifies that the benchmark for autonomous computer use stands at 72.5%. That is nearly double the performance of its predecessor. A 1 million token context window is now available in beta. Developers indicate preference for Sonnet 4.6 over 4.5 in 70% of evaluations and over Opus 4.5 in 59%. Pricing is set at $3 per million input tokens and $15 per million output tokens. New MCP connectors has been added to Claude in Excel, specifically for FactSet and Moody data. On the enterprise front, Anthropic has confirmed a strategic collaboration with Infosys to deploy enterprise agents across telecom, finance services, and manufacturing. The integration connects Claude models and Claude code with the Infosys Topaz platform. A dedicated center of excellence has been launched for the telecom vertical. In India, the record shows Claude is now the second largest market, and nearly half of all users concentrate in the application development. In a development of a different character, Anthropic has signed a 3-year memorandum of understanding with the government of Rwanda. The agreement covers health, education, and public sector AI. Stated health goals include cervical cancer elimination and maternal mortality reduction. 2,000 Claude Pro licenses are being provided to Rwandan educators. An AI learning companion is now deployed across 8 African nations. Claude Code, Assess, and API credits have been committed to public sector development. Separately, Anthropic has partnered with CodePath to integrate Claude and Claude Code into curriculum, reaching more than 20,000 students. Over 40% of CodePath students come from households earning under $50,000 annually. This week's Anthropic activities, taken in full, suggest a company extending its reach into three axes simultaneously: technical capabilities, enterprise infrastructure, and institutional access. OpenAI has made a significant organizational move. The company has hired Peter Steinberg, creator of OpenClaw, to lead its personal agent division. OpenClaw launched in November 2025. By Feb 2026, it has reached nearly 200,000 GitHub stars and 1.5 million deployed agents. The platform focuses on autonomous management of emails, calendar, and digital workflows across consumer platforms. OpenClaw will transition to an independent open source foundation with OpenAI providing financial and technical backing. Sam Altman has described OpenAI's future direction in terms that leave little ambiguity. The record this week shows he characterized it as extremely multi-agent. The hire of Steinberg is consistent with that declared direction, as signals that OpenAI intend to compete directly in the layer of AI that manages day-to-day personal and professional workflows. Microsoft has published two significant security developments this week, one facing outward to enterprise customers and one facing inwards to its own infrastructure. The company has launched a unified AI governance dashboard. The dashboard is available at no additional cost to existing customers of Defender, Entra, and Purview. The context Microsoft cites is specific. 53% of security professionals reported that their current AI risk strategies are insufficient. The dashboard is a direct response to that reported gap. Internally, Microsoft has published its MCP security blueprint. All remote MCP servers are now routed directly through a central API gateway. The framework enforces TLC, OIDC based identity verification, and short lived least privilege token. Every MCP server must pass both static and dynamic security testing before joining the trusted catalog. Governance has been integrated directly into Copilot Studio and Power Platform. Consent is required before any agent initiated write, delete, or configuration changes. What emerges from these two releases is a coherent position. Microsoft is moving to define what responsible agent deployment looks like in an enterprise scale, both for its own stack and for the broader ecosystem of AI services its customers are running. Funding events this week collectively illuminates where institutional capital is concentrating in the agentic ecosystem. Manufact, formerly known as MCP, has closed a $6.3 million seed round led by Peak XV with participation from Y Combinator, Liquid 2 Venture, and Pioneer Fund. The company reports over 6 million SDK downloads and 5 million platform downloads as of early 2026. Its product covers open source tooling for MCP prototyping and managed cloud infrastructure for product deployment. Manufact was founded in 2025. That a company less than 2 years old is closing institutional rounds of this composition reflects that the urgency with which the investors are approaching the MCP infrastructure layer. Autosana has raised $3.2 million in a seed round led by Y Combinator with Pioneer Funds, 468 Capital, and individual investors including Paul Graham. The company offers an agentic quality assurance platform for mobile and web testing, one that self-heals when user interface element changes. It currently serves 100 million daily active users and has reported 100% month-over-month revenue growth since June 2025. In a category often dismissed as tooling, the growth rate demands attention. Redpanda has launched what it describes as an agent data plane, a new AI gateway that centralizes routing, token budgeting, and cost control across AI traffic. The system uses OIDC based identity with short lived agent bound tokens, full observability in delivered via open telemetry tracing and logging. The platform supports both A2A protocols and MCP and is compatible with LangChain and the Microsoft Copilot SDK. It is currently available for select design partners on AWS with Google Cloud Platform and Azure in development. Models grow more capable, protocols grow more native, and security grow more deliberate. The question is no longer whether agentic systems will enter the enterprise. The question is under whose governance, within which infrastructure, and guided by which standards. This transition is the true foundation of the agentic era. We will be here next week to track the development. If you want to stay ahead of the curve, hit the subscribe button and notification bell below. Good night.